All right, let's talk about something that most of us would rather not think about, but it's super important. Dealing with disciplinary and grievance issues at work. It can sound pretty intimidating, right? But once you understand the rules of the game, you can handle it with a whole lot more confidence. So let's break it down. I mean, let's be honest, who hasn't? We've all been there. Maybe you're a manager and you have to tackle a tough issue with someone on your team. Or maybe you're an employee and you feel like you've been treated unfairly. That knot in your stomach, totally normal. It feels like a high-stakes situation, because, well, it is.
But here's the really good news. It's not the Wild West. There's actually a playbook for this stuff, a set of clear rules designed to make sure these tricky situations are handled fairly and transparently for absolutely everyone involved. Think of it as a roadmap to get through the mess.
So who writes this roadmap? In the UK, it's this organization, ACAS. Their code of practice is basically the gold standard for how to handle discipline and grievances. It's the official guide, and employers really need to pay attention to it. And here's why it's such a big deal. If a case ends up in front of an employment tribunal, they can literally increase or decrease any compensation awarded by up to 25%. And that all depends on whether the employer or the employee followed the ACAS code. So yeah, ignoring the rules can have some serious financial backlash. So what's this playbook all about then? Well, it all boils down to a few core principles. These are the things that guarantee fairness no matter which side of the conversation you're on. Let's take a look at the bedrock of the whole system. And here they are, these 6 pillars of a fair process. You've got to deal with things quickly, be consistent with everyone, actually investigate what happened, tell people what the problem is, let them bring someone for support, and always give them a chance to appeal a decision. These aren't just suggestions, they're the foundation. Okay, so let's look at one side of the coin first. This is the disciplinary process. It kicks in when the company has a problem with an employee, either with their behavior or their performance. But hold on, before we even get into all the formal steps, this is absolutely crucial to remember. The best solution is almost always the simplest one. So many issues can be sorted out with just a quiet, informal chat. The goal is to solve the problem, not to start a war. Now, if that informal chat doesn't work and things have to get formal, the employer's first job is to figure something out. What kind of problem are we actually dealing with here? Is it misconduct or is it poor performance? Because, believe me, they're not the same thing. Misconduct is all about your actions. It's about breaking the rules. You know, things like theft, insubordination, or just ignoring a major company policy. It's usually something done deliberately or at the very least, recklessly. It's a won't-do problem. Poor performance, on the other hand, is about your ability to do the job. This is when someone is just not hitting their targets or meeting the standards, even with the right training. It's usually not on purpose. It's a can't-do problem. This table just lays it out perfectly. Look at the goals. With misconduct, you want to correct behavior. But with poor performance, the goal is to support and improve. The whole process is different. You can see how treating a performance issue like a misconduct issue would be completely unfair, right?
Okay, so let's say it is a misconduct issue. What does a fair, formal process actually look like?
This is the official map from ACAS. Now, I know what you're thinking. That looks a little complicated, but don't worry. When you zoom in, it's actually just a series of logical steps, all designed to make sure everything happens in the right order. See, it all boils down to these 5 key stages. First, you investigate. Get the facts straight. Then you inform the employee, in writing, what it's all about. Then you meet, and they get to have their say. After that, you make a decision. And finally, and this is a big one, you give them the right to appeal. And in that meeting, and any appeal meeting, this is a non-negotiable. The employee has a legal right to bring someone with them. This isn't just a nice to have, it's the law. And that person can be a coworker, a union rep, or a union official. It's a fundamental part of a fair hearing. So that covers what happens when the company has an issue with you. But what if it's the other way around? What if you have an issue with them? Time to flip the coin and look at the grievance process. Grievance sounds like a very formal word, but really it's just any concern, problem, or complaint that you as an employee officially raise with your employer. It's your way of putting your hand up and saying, hey, something isn't right here. And these issues can be about all sorts of things. It could be about your contract, your pay, or a health and safety risk. But it also covers really serious stuff like your relationships at work, bullying and harassment, or discrimination. And no surprise here, ACAS has a flowchart for this side of things too. And again,
While it might look detailed, the process itself is pretty straightforward. It's built on those exact same principles of fairness we keep talking about.
Notice the pattern? You raise it formally in writing, the company has to meet with you to discuss it, then they have to make a decision about what to do, and you guessed it, if you're not happy with the outcome, you have the right to appeal. It's a fair process from either direction. So we've walked through these two very structured processes. But what's the big picture here? Why does following all these steps and rules matter so much in the real world? I think this quote just nails it. This whole ACUS code, it's not just a bunch of red tape. It's a blueprint for treating people with respect. It's about making sure everyone is clear on what's happening and that the real goal is to actually solve the problem, not just to win. Ultimately, it helps build a better, healthier workplace culture. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? These formal procedures, they might seem like they're only for when things go wrong, but maybe their real power is in creating a workplace where people feel respected, heard, and secure. Is having a rock-solid, fair process actually the secret ingredient to making a company a truly great place to work? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.